into it. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, turn on post notifications, join my Discord. Link will be down below in the description. We got a special guest in the building. We got Journey Skye.
Hello.
For the people who don't know you, let them know what you're about.
So I'm an artist. I am a singer, songwriter, producer. Um, I've been working on music for releasing for about a year. But that's the main thing that I really do. I do some like modeling and stuff on the side too,
Mhm.
but my main focus has been music.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about your upbringing and how it shaped who you are today?
Yeah, absolutely. So funny enough, like I haven't always like done music. I know a lot of people, especially artists, like they say like, "Oh, I've been doing music for like 10 years and things like that." Like
Hmm.
that's not really the case for me. I actually didn't actually start making music until about like a year and a half ago. Um, but my family like has been in the music industry. My dad, he's a producer. He
Hmm.
signed to Sony. Um, and so I grew up with him and like knowing like that's there, but I never really showed interest in it until I got to college actually. I went to college pre-med
Hmm.
and I thought I was gonna be a doctor and do all that shit. And then I was like, I hate this. Absolutely hate it.
Absolutely understand.
So yeah. So and then I was like, okay, well, I'm still gonna finish my degree, but like I should be doing things that I'm actually passionate about and like that actually make me happy. So that's why I switched over from there into doing music. That's basically the basis of my upbringing. Like it's always been in my life, but I didn't want it in my life until like about a year ago.
Hmm. Okay. What inspired you to pursue music as a career?
Yeah. So kind of like similar to like what I just said, like it's always been there. It's always been something that I've been passionate about, kind of just like a side hobby thing. Cause like I still grew up like playing guitar, writing songs and things like that just for fun. Um, so it's kind of always been a passion, but like, when especially as you're growing up and you have like expectations from certain people, you kind of decide like if you want to keep your passions like just hobbies or do you want to pursue them as something bigger?
Hmm.
And so that was a big thing for me and trying to just deciding what I wanted to do with that. But yeah, I think like anybody in life should always follow like what they envision themselves doing that makes them the happiest.
Absolutely. Okay. For someone who hasn't listened to your music before, how would you describe your sound?
Okay. This is always like the hardest question for me because like I feel like genres are so like just everywhere
Hmm.
now. Um but I would say definitely like in genre perspective, I'd say like it's a mixture of alternative pop and R&B
Hmm.
kind of in that category. Um, and I don't really know like who I would compare my sound to specifically, but I definitely would say it's a definitely a mixture of that.
Okay. What songs would you catalog from your catalog would you recommend for new listeners and why?
Um, Definitely senses. That is a big one that a lot of people like.
Hmm.
Um, it's kind of more of like a pop sounding. No More Cameras as well. Those are probably my two biggest songs that are out right now.
Hmm.
But my favorite actually is Siren. That one is on my most recent album I released, and it's kind of more of it's a slower feel and everything, but it's probably one of like my favorite beats that I ever created, and I just like the flow of it as well. So I would say those three.
Okay. From your recent album, Water, can you tell us what is the inspiration behind it?
Yeah, absolutely. So, um, my first album that I actually released is called Air, and then of course the next one's called Water.
Hmm.
And so I'm kind of going with the theme here, if you know what I mean. But like the next one will be Earth, and then Fire will be after that,
Okay.
and it's kind of going off of when I first started the whole process of the project. At first I was like, okay, like if they should all be different genres,
Hmm.
but then I was like, I should really just go off of the feel, like what feels like water to me, like what feels like air. So air is definitely a little bit more of like an ambient sound, and water is a little bit more flowy, a little bit more deep in some senses too. Um, so that was really the main inspiration behind it. And also, Water was the first album fully that I fully produced, recorded, composed all by myself too. So yeah, it's definitely a big piece for sure, and just like my journey in music.
Okay. Where do you see yourself in the next 3 years, both personally and musically? I mean, both personally and professionally. My bad.
Yeah. Yeah, so in the next 3 years, I mean, a lot can happen in 3 years. Um, but hopefully, like as far as music, I would definitely hope to be reaching a lot more of my goals, a lot more audience too, because of course, like again, like I just started a year ago and I'm still really happy with the progress that I've made so far in
Hmm.
music. Um, but definitely, I also I have written for people before too, so I definitely want to write with a lot more bigger artists. Hopefully, have some songs out with some bigger artists as well, both like feature wise and then also writing and producing wise as well. So that's my goals musically for sure. And then as far as just personal life, I think like I always say this, and this is so broad, but
Hmm.
just to be happy, really. Like I think that's so important in life, is just
Absolutely.
to feel happy, like no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing. I really don't think that like it's healthy to not pursue the things that you want to if you feel like it will lead you to happiness,
Hmm.
So um and just in life in general, yeah, I hope to be have a little more money. That's always a good thing, too. But those, happiness and money, those two
Hmm.
things.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Okay, what has been your favorite memory in music so far?
Mm. I think my favorite memory, um, definitely, I would say, well, one, um, I got to be in I did a recent camp for Rolling Loud out here in Los Angeles,
Hmm.
and we worked in this camp with Rock Nation, and I got to meet a lot of writers through them. And this one writer, her name is Ink, spelled by Ink. She wrote a lot for like Beyonce, her like Lemonade album, and just
Hmm.
a lot of things like that. And so my favorite memory is definitely being in that studio and just seeing how different people work compared to me, because she's a really big writer out there. She came in, hopped in the booth, freestyle literally a whole song, and just left and said, "Oh, can you airdrop to me?" And then just walked out, and everybody's like, what? Like, what just happened? And so it was just a really cool experience. And so that is so far like one of my favorite memories, because it's just really cool to see different people's like thought processes and just minds and how they work compared to other people.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Okay. Are there any upcoming projects or collaborations that you can share with the audience?
Yeah, so I have a single coming out on the 31st actually. It's called Close to the Sun. I'm really excited about releasing that one. It's kind of just like a nice way to end the year too and just start the new year
Hmm.
as well. So really excited for that. I do have a couple more singles that I'll be dropping like in the first half of the year too. Um, that I'm really excited about as well. Kind of just more development like in my own sound really, and some things that I think that my fan base and audience will really like as well. Um, as for features and collaborations, um, I do have some coming up. I can't say with who yet, but definitely to look forward to those in 2025 too.
Okay. What advice
Mhm.
would you give to someone who wants to pursue music?
I say just go all in, honestly. I think the one thing that discourages people from doing music is not having the success right away that they really want. But it's a long process. Like for some people, it can happen like that. And then for some people, it could take 10 years. Like you just really
Hmm.
never know like when that peak is going to be for you. But it's really different for everybody. And I think like anybody who really wants to
Mm-hmm.
pursue music, like I say just go all in and don't like be discouraged by like comparing yourself to other people, because your right audience will find you, the right people will find you, and if you believe in yourself, other people will believe in you too.
Absolutely. Okay, specifically for the female artists, what advice would you give them for those who want to jump into the scene?
Mm. For female artists, I say don't be discouraged by people who want to do you wrong, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because me personally, even though I haven't even been in the industry for that long, I've had a lot of experiences with people who like don't even want to actually work with me music wise. They're just trying to get something from me because I'm a woman, you know? And like I've had times, like there's this one time where this producer wanted to work with me. He was like was offering all these things, and he's like, oh well, we can do this if you do this for me, like I want to, like we can go on a date before, and I'm like no, and then they said something like okay, good luck with your career, like just shit like that. Like it happens all the time. And like just don't be fooled into that kind of stuff, especially
Mm-hmm.
people who want to change you and your look and things. Like just because you're a woman in the music industry doesn't mean you need to show your ass and titties all the time just so people can listen to your music and shit like that, you know? Like
Mm-hmm.
it's not necessary. It's really not. So definitely don't be discouraged by that.
Okay. Outside of music, what are some things that you love to do to keep you inspired?
Mm. So I'm actually big on going to the gym. I used to do bodybuilding, and like now I just go to the gym
Mm-hmm.
uh for fun. I go to the gym a lot. But I'm big into fitness, and that's something that I do that really helps me just keep the balance outside of music, because I think it's very important to have those things too. I love like doing active things. But also I draw too. I draw a lot. I used to do tattoo commissions for people, paintings, things like that. Like my whole sleeve on my arm, I drew myself. So that's also something that I do in my free time as well.
Okay. Okay, Miss Guy, that's all the questions I got for you. Is there anything else you would like to say to the audience?
Um, Not really anything else. Just thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you having me on here.
No problem.
Um, and definitely just, listen, stream my music. It's on all platforms, on Instagram, Journey_Skye, all of those things. Definitely look forward to a lot of new music coming in 2025.
All right. Thank you, Miss Guy, for your time.
Of
Really
course.
appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.